Welcome to Create It Now. With your hosts, Jonathan Stowe, Dawn Elizabeth, and the business hypnotist, AJ Boyden. For the next 60 minutes, we're going to put your dreams into motion and create it now. The phone lines are open at 731-1230. That's 731-1230. Or toll free 1-866-820-5528. That's 1-866-820-KLAV. Now, let's bring on the host and create it now. Here is Jonathan Stone, Dawn Elizabeth, and AJ Boyden.
And welcome to the Create It Now radio show. Today in studio we have Jonathan Stone and myself, Dawn Elizabeth. AJ is not with us. He is at an event with
Marshall Silver. Turning Point event.
Yes, where last week some of our callers and people who were online got some free tickets too. So they are out having fun
and learning a lot.
Learning a lot, absolutely, for the 3-day event.
Yes.
Very cool. Yeah, and today we have a guest, Imara, who is a master psychic and business intuitive consultant, which is going to be a very fun and interesting conversation today.
Oh, I absolutely agree. 'Cause life is about your gut feeling and gut reaction. I find, like when we first met, talking about doing radio and stuff, and the connection that we had, and decided to create it now,
right?
But not waiting. See, I think what people do is they get a good gut feeling, and then they start questioning themselves, and that's what I want to talk to Imara about as well. What you should do when you get that feeling. But I find that, then we sit there and we second guess ourselves, and we want to know, if this gut feeling's right or wrong. Your gut is your gut.
Right.
And like with you and I, it was like, let's do the show. There was no if, buts, or anything about it. It was like, let's make it happen.
Right. And like sometimes when you go forth with any type of adventure, you either get that feeling of this feels really good, or, oh no, I don't know if this is a good idea. And it's, I guess, finding a balance or figuring out how that can really help play into the decisions that you make. Like, how much should you really look at that gut feeling and go with that?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And, it's like other people have it. It's kind of funny, and my mom's going to kill me for this, but people call my mom a witch. Sorry, Mom. And the reason is she tells me something in her gut. It comes true. Like one day she's like, don't take the car. I'm like, I'm taking the car. And you don't think it got totaled?
Wow.
Seriously. And about different people that she hasn't had good feelings about. And it's like always comes to you. And do I listen? No.
Maybe after today, Imara will help you realize that you should listen to that. Maybe we'll figure that out today.
Oh, I think it's going to be an amazing education.
Yeah.
About, that going through with something, how your gut feels, that sense, and whatever level we feel it at, she's like a million times up there. So that anybody that wants to know about this, they should definitely call in, or if there's questions about it,
Absolutely.
or they've ever, had doubts themselves or had that feeling.
Yeah.
They've had a gut feeling.
One of the things that is amazing to me is when I have that gut feeling of this is a great idea, this is something I should go forth with, things seem to fall into place easier and it all lines up a lot easier, and I get a lot more out of it, whether it's business-wise, satisfaction-wise, whatever it is. And then those things that I have more of a gut feeling, I'm not so sure, but I go with it anyway, it seems a lot harder.
Right.
And it's like pulling teeth, getting things done.
Well, you put up your own blocks.
Yeah.
I mean, when the gut feeling's good and amazing, it's like you put it into action. When you're like,
Right.
I mean, but that's like putting your desire into creating something or to doing something or to making things happen. It's like, this feels right, but then we talk ourselves out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is a huge thing that I talk about when I go and speak to different companies and different audiences, is one of the things about priorities and being able to put those priorities first. Even though we know and we have that good feeling about it, if it's something that's going to take a lot of work or something that just seems like it's going to be hard to do, we still push it back, even though we know it's the way to go and we have that good gut feeling about it. We still decide, you know what? Let me push that to the back burner and I'm going to do this and check my email and go on Facebook, which We do want you to do that currently while we're on the radio with you guys. But in general, when we are working on our big priorities, we have hard times doing that.
I think we do all that stuff as a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
But we make it as an excuse to be able to do it. So I'm going to go check my Facebook. I'm going to go do this or do the other thing. And it's just to distract us and keep us from actually doing with it. I mean, doing something with it. Basically, you should maximize your downtime. You know, I think we all fall into that. Like, oh, I have downtime. I'm going to
watch television.
Watch television. Yeah, go on Facebook.
Yeah.
Watch the end of Breaking Bad or the whole season at a time, instead of maximizing your downtime where you could read, you can learn, you can listen to a book and tape, listen to our show.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the
In
smartest and best thing to do.
Absolutely. Our archives on www.createitnowmedia.com. Yeah, and that I just wanted to point out, when back in October, so it's now exactly my anniversary of this is coming up, October 10th of 2009, I turned my television off. I got rid of it. Now, it wasn't so much so that I wouldn't watch anything. It was so that I would utilize my downtime, because I'd find myself sitting down and watching a television show, which turned into another show, and then another show, and then another show. And then all of a sudden, I have no more time left. So I got rid of it in the way of being able to get more done. And things started taking off because I was actually doing those things, that following my gut and doing what I should be doing.
Right. Because it is so easy to get distracted.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you watch the news, you know what? It's just depressing. And everybody, you know, I've been looking at Facebook, and everybody's so political and people are arguing. It's just, look, life is simple.
Yeah.
People make it hard. You know, there's nothing we can fight about with Congress right now. And everybody's, you know, just everybody should focus on what they need to do, what they need to accomplish.
And the thing I found, too, is that if it's important enough for me to know about it, I will find out.
Right.
Whether it's on any websites, when you're on Yahoo, I mean, it shows up. When you're on Facebook, people talk about it. So when I see those, I'll go investigate and learn about it. So that way I'm still up to date with what's going on in the world, what's going on television. I mean, I know all about Breaking Bad, yet I've never seen it. But I know what's going on. And when I performed over the weekend, I had to do some improv about Breaking Bad, and I was still able to do that, even though I've never actually seen an episode.
Right. No, it's an amazing show. But when I just said that thing about Congress and everything, I just want to make it. I'm saying news is important, and you should have your opinions, but I don't want that to stop your life, that to consume your life. So, I mean, the news and keeping up to date and being current with, you know, current affairs and stuff is important. But just don't let it consume every minute of your time and put you in a funk and not let you complete what you need to do.
Right. So you can go out and take action on the important things in your personal life. Absolutely.
Yes, I agree.
Nice. So when we come back from our break, we are going to have Imara on, who is calling in, and this is going to be a really fun conversation. I'm super excited. So if you guys want to become a part of the conversation, you can call us at 702-731-1230 or drop us a note on Facebook or Twitter, which is twitter.com/dreamitcreateit. And we're going to take it out to a commercial break, and we will be right back.
Hey, it's Roxy from the 702 Rock Show, right here at VegasAllNetRadio.com. Listen to my show every Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. to hear about local artists, musicians, fashion designers, and more right here in Las Vegas. So tune in every Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. to hear me, Michelle Roxy Davis, right here at VANR on the 702 Rock Show.
Have you ever wondered what's the difference between those that dream about a better life and those who create it?
Are you waiting to accomplish your dreams and goals?
Let's create it now and put your dreams into motion.
Hi, this is AJ Clayton.
Dawn Elizabeth.
And Jonathan Stone.
With the Create It Now radio show, join the three of us Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Become a part of the conversation on the Create It Now radio show about why some people create it.
See you every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on KLAV
AM 1230.
Those who can do. This is Create It Now. Here again, your hosts, Jonathan Stone, Dawn Elizabeth, and AJ Boyden.
Welcome back to the Create It Now radio show. In studio, we have Jonathan Stone and myself, Dawn Elizabeth, and we have a guest on the phone. So, Jonathan, why don't you introduce our guest for us?
Yes, you can call our next guest a master psychic, a business intuitive consultant, a spiritual teacher, and an entertaining teacher, a personal coach, a career counselor, a hypnotist, a sound healer, or a Reiki master, and you'd be right at all of those.
Nice.
But whatever you label her, she truly isn't a phrase, her client's secret asset. We want to welcome, with open hearts and open minds, Imara. How are you doing?
Oh, good afternoon, Jonathan and Dawn. It's wonderful to be with you guys. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on. I'm super excited about our conversation today.
I'm so excited, too, because your whole concept of your show just embodies everything that I do and teach and work with people about every day, which is creating it now, taking self-responsibility and action and making it happen in the present.
Nice.
Yes, I'm both.
Yeah.
See, we're in sync here. So, Mara, there's that stigma and stuff, and we were talking about this earlier between a psychic and an intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
And first, we're going to really get into this. We want to delve into what it actually is. But can you explain to people so they know what an intuitive is? I figure a lot of people, they hear psychic and then they have this idea of some gypsy with a crystal ball or something
Neon
like that.
sign in the window. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we want to just make it clear how powerful this can be. And somebody like you, who's really legit and gets this feeling and everything, and what it brings and what it can bring out and what you see and feel.
Well, the word psychic is the known word, and it is the one that people will search on the internet or I think they understand. I like the word intuitive. It sounds gentler and kinder and nicer because of the cheesy stereotypes that the word psychic has. They're both really the same thing. One just doesn't have the connotations that the other one has, come to be known as in society, soap operas, and the like.
Right.
But basically, being an intuitive or a psychic is someone whose sensitivity, their sensory abilities, are just more finely tuned. Everybody has a gift. Einstein himself was very intuitive. People think of him as a scientist, but yet when you look at him, study him, read his quotes, he put his emphasis on imagination, on really delving into that gray area between black and white to find solutions. The use of the entirety of the brain combined with the heart is what I think defines the difference between someone that is just a little bit intuitive or as a hunch versus someone that really can open themselves to feeling or sensing multidimensional reality.
No, that makes a lot of sense. So do you feel, is it more like a heightened awareness where get rid of the clutter in your mind that you can feel?
Actually, I have probably more clutter than most people.
Nice.
Because I have no screens. In neurology, they would call it that I'm a hypersensitive. Where I am hypersensitive and I have no screens to filter out all of the incoming. And
Gotcha.
The best way I describe it, Jonathan, you're in the television business, is I describe it as, we can't easily explain how that television box comes into our house and has a discernible picture, and even more than that, we can turn it on and off at will and change the channel and predictably determine what picture is going to come through on a different channel. It's all done through waves and bouncing through mountains and oceans and buildings, and yet there it is, totally clear. I'm that television for the input from the universe when I'm directing it specifically for a client, and somehow I'm able to tune into various channels about a client, people connected to them remotely, past, present, or future, People use the word clairvoyant, clear seeing. I'm very visually oriented. I see pictures predominantly. I also do hear voices. That's called clairaudient. And I'm also what they call clairsentient, which is clear feeling, where I can tap into the emotions and the motivations of people, which really helps me when I'm working with business clients.
So then how or when, I guess, did you realize that you had this openness and this more intuitiveness about you?
I've always been aware of it, or if you ask my father, who was always telling me and other adults in my life to stop being so sensitive when I was a little girl, I've always had a higher level of sensitivity. I could feel the emotion before it was perhaps externalized by the person feeling the emotion. I could anticipate that things were going to happen before there was any physical sign. So there would be supposedly or logically no reason for me to be worried about something, or no reason for me to not like something, or no reason for me to worry. And yet, in the end, there was, in hindsight, because I would anticipate, I guess you would say, what was going to happen and not know that that was called intuition or being psychic. I wasn't raised in an environment where I had a mom like me that would explain it and help me develop it. So from the beginning, I could see and feel and sense things, and I somewhat secreted that part of myself because it made life difficult as a child. You are not sure how to interpret the things that are happening around you, and it's something that makes you feel as if there is something about you that is unexplainable, that doesn't fit in.
So as it was difficult growing up, and I can imagine people being not believing what you're saying, and because a lot of people have that feeling of, I can't see it, so I don't believe that you can. And how have you been able to really go beyond that and get past that, and when other people give those objections?
Well, there's two parts to that one. That's a good question, Dawn. I'm going to handle the second part of that first, if I may.
Absolutely.
When people give those objections, you know what? I'm not here to prove anything to anybody.
Nice.
Nice. I love it.
And I don't have to prove anything in terms of making somebody believe it. It is what it is. For me, it's not a belief. It's a knowing. This is my life. This is what I get. And if you don't know me and you want to judge it, okay, that's your path. I'm not here to prove anything to anyone. For those that are open, or for those for whom I can maybe turn the key in your mind and perhaps unlock and suspend disbelief for a moment, I get really excited about that. Of course, many clients that come to me, they're open, they're ready, they're receptive, and they want to hear.
Yeah.
Those that come skeptically, they may be skeptical at first, and then they come back going, man, you were right, or I didn't believe you, I thought you were crazy. And then they'll call me, and 5 years later they'll say, everything you said came down. I don't understand it, but it did. My excitement is with that person who comes a skeptic, and I'm a skeptic, believe me. Comes as a skeptic, still isn't sure when they leave, but that key in the lock of the door was turned. The door was maybe opened ajar, and I know that they leave here. Maybe not perhaps understanding everything that I do, but when they go out into the world, maybe they'll be a little bit more open-minded in their everyday life, or to another person's point of view, or to suspending disbelief of the possibility of their own dreams. That's what makes me excited.
No, it makes a lot of sense. We actually have a caller, so
cool.
We want to bring them on. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, who's this?
This is Kathy.
Hi, Kathy. How are you? This is Jonathan.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hi. So, do you have a question for Imara?
He gave AJ the day off, huh?
Yes. Yes.
I've been listening to the conversation. She sounds fascinating. What can I ask? I mean, what would be the ideal type of question? I'm still trying to understand that.
Well, what's on your mind? What are you thinking about that you want to ask?
Well, in terms of, I'm borderline thinking about starting a new venture in a network marketing business. I'm already involved in something that I've been doing for quite some time, and this is just a product I will be using. And I just think if I'm going to be using it, I could try and, make it a business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? And
So I hear you saying that you're considering the network marketing product, but you also have something else that you do on this as a main kind of income.
Yes, well, I've been in direct sales. I'm a director, a leader in my brand for
Right.
a little over 4 years. So that plate is pretty much spinning. You know what I mean?
What I'm getting, Kathy, in this particular network marketing opportunity is that it's going to take a lot more work than you think to generate the return that you're expecting. Or to put it another way, it's not going to generate the return you're expecting for the amount of time you think that you can put into it. So for me, it looks like it's a hard choice, that it may come down to having to choose between this and something else in order to make it successful. It looks a little fuzzy to me, and by fuzzy I mean I don't feel that all those involved have been realistic with you about what you can generate.
I see. You're talking about the new one that I'm thinking about getting involved in. Okay.
Yeah, the new one. Yeah. But, in general, Kathy, for you, your outlook, other than that, looks phenomenal right now for the next 6 months, 3 to 6 months, for generating income, for creating abundance. I feel like recently you've either kind of turned a corner or created something within yourself that has opened the door wider. So if not this opportunity, perhaps another, because you're in a phenomenal window for creating and expanding what I call the green and gold stuff, the prosperity which follows from the abundance for the next 3 to 6 months. I just don't think it's going to be from this particular opportunity.
I understand. Well, this is a product I'm going to try anyway for myself for the next 3 months. It's a health and fitness weight loss product. And I've been reading about it and kind of like it, and I want to try it. It's something different than what's out there on the mass market now. So, like I said, I'm going to join to try it myself for 3 months without really marketing it, and just let people come to me if there's a reason for them to see me going, oh, what are you doing? Then I'll say, oh, okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that'll tell you a lot.
All right.
All right, excellent.
Kathy,
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
Thanks
for
for
calling
listening,
in.
Kathy.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's my first.
nice. So, Imara, let me ask you a question. So, since we just saw it live, heard it live, I guess we didn't really see it. We heard it live and we felt it. And with you talking with Kathy, what is it when you go and work with different business clients? What is it that you do and how do you help them out?
Boy, that ranges from everything from marketing, business development strategy, client development, company formation, to contract negotiation, to legal cases, court cases, to personnel management, development, hiring, firing,
Nice.
and how to develop the bottom line. What I love about what I do is that people or companies or nonprofit organizations will come to me often with a problem or an opportunity, and we'll evaluate it. And I can work with them on all those aspects, or if you will, departments. I usually work with the owner of a company or the CEO or a high-level executive who goes back and then presents the advice or the strategy as their own. As Jonathan introduced me, I'm a lot of people's secret asset.
Right.
Most people, especially in business, don't want to go around telling people they consult with me and that I'm their number one advisor for obvious reasons. I do have a Northwestern MBA, but they don't want to say, oh, my Northwestern psychic.
Right.
So I'm kind of like, I laughingly call myself the Betazoid of a lot of businesses. You know, on Star Trek, the Betazoid was out in the open, but she had a defined role. And I'm kind of the secret Betazoid for the captain of the ship. And it's a lot of fun. I love helping organizations have a more conscious bottom line. So for me, someone might come to me to have a better career or negotiate a better employment contract, or as a client recently in one of your better-known Las Vegas establishments did and has been doing for 25 years with me. But my intention is, in the end, in working with me, we create a more conscious career. We create a more conscious bottom line. We create a company that achieves its profitability with integrity, or with contributing to the world, not detracting, with treating people and employees better, not detracting, with helping people resolve their personal issues or manage their bosses better, rather than getting into negativity or just, dumping it and walking away without ever learning a lesson.
Right.
And it takes an amazing person to be able to go in and be that back-end person where you're not taking the credit for what it is that you've helped that company with, letting them be in the lead. I think that's a really great way to help other businesses. It doesn't mean it's not an ego piece. It's that piece of wanting to help others.
Right. And I really believe that you need that. I mean, I've been in a lot of business negotiations and stuff, and I wish I had somebody like you on my side so I can come back. I mean, the person that introduced us, Jonathan Barbado, who was on the show, like right now, even though he's a business partner, but he is my calming aspect. When I want to react to something, I call him. But I could see the benefit of having you, in somebody's corner to feel it, to explain. When they come back from the boardroom and go, okay, look, they want to do this, they want to negotiate this, and you're like, wait, whoa, no, this is not right. This is not how we should brand this. This is not the feel, and to be honest with people, where they can actually take that inside and then go back to the boardroom and go, look, this is how we do it, and in a peaceful, spiritual kind of way.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's funny. That's exactly what I told the producer of, I think it was Channel 7, who followed me around for a week. And we did everything from, they interviewed my business clients in real estate and the hospitality industry and a U.S. government official, to having me go up to the Stanley Hotel and check out what Stephen King left behind. And they started out, and I knew this was their intention, they started out, it was going to be aired during Sweeps Week, and they were going to expose this fraud. What is this weird, flaky thing, and how does this person with this blue chip background do this stuff? And I said to them, what you're going to find in the course of a week is how mainstream this is. That exactly what you just said, Jonathan, that you don't know when you walk into a boardroom or a committee meeting or a meeting at Channel 7 or Channel 9 or Channel 4 News, who just got off the phone with me. And that person has an advantage if they just got off the phone with me. Because before they come into the meeting, not only do we discuss the project or their objectives for their career, their meeting, but we also look at the motivations of everybody in the meeting. And we look at the best way to work with those people, or the best way to present your point of view, or the best way to respond to potential problems that maybe the group hasn't even brought up yet, but that I see coming down the road. I was once working for a Silicon Valley company, and I don't know anything about programming, and it was a venture capital startup company, and they were asking me about the potential success and money, raising money and strategy and all sorts of things. And I said, there's a technical problem in the programming. There's a glitch, and I gave them a description of what it had to do with, but I didn't know what it was. Like I said, I'm not a programmer, but I knew there was a glitch. I said, that's going to hang you up. I said, before you go out there, do any more public presentation of yourselves, you've got to get your programmers, your engineers, whomever, to get in there and find what that problem is. There's a bug in the system, and it'll take you down. And then I gave him some words that, for me, came through. They understood them. I didn't. And they found it. He called me back, and he said, we found it. There was something. None of us had any idea it was there.
Nice.
Wow. Nice.
So things like that can really help, someone to create it now, to make their dreams happen, to achieve their goals.
Absolutely.
And do so in a less costly way, certainly.
Yeah, as long as they follow that piece as well, to make sure that they are at least, even if they are skeptical, checking it out, making and seeing if there really is that glitch that you say, or otherwise the company could have gone down. It would have been a huge problem.
Exactly.
And
the funny part is in the personal side. You know, when it comes to business, people will pretty much take my advice. They see my business credentials in corporate world and with Sara Lee and Nestle and Silicon Valley and Northwestern, they go, oh, she must know what she's talking about. But it's the personal side where people ignore you the most. You know, the person that comes to you and says, oh, what about this new guy I'm dating? And you're like, oh, God, he's trouble. This is your old pattern. They ignore you. And they do that 2 or 3 times, and they finally come back and go, okay, I'm not going to ignore you anymore. I'm going to start listening. You know?
So
Well,
true.
I want you to be aware, that's one question I will never ask you. What does this guy think about me? I promise you that.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. Matters of the heart. Getting to that can be a little crazy. But we do have to go to a quick commercial break, and we would love to have you stay on with us. I definitely have more questions.
have some
know
questions.
Jonathan has some. So if you'd love to stay on with us, we'd love to have you. And
Absolutely.
Excellent. So you are listening to the Create It Now radio show. Give us a call, 702-731-1230, or find us on Facebook if you have any questions, and we will be right back.
Hi everyone, this is New Media Vegas, your Sin City webmasters in Las Vegas, Nevada.
More than just web design, complete integrated marketing with inspired innovations in delivery of your new media message, putting the groove and the backbeat back in your brand.
The hottest in design trends with the latest innovations in marketing techniques. Call New Media Vegas at 702-517-0184.
Or visit us online at www.newmediavegas.com. Don't forget to check out our online magazine, Sin City Presents, featuring business, technology, fashion, dining, and entertainment news.
702-517-0184. 702-517-0184.
Why wait to accomplish your dreams when you can create them now? It's time to put your dreams into motion. Create it now. Hi, this is Jonathan Stone with the Create It Now radio show on KLAV 1230 AM. Join us every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. We will help you move from a dream state to a create state. Become a part of a conversation on the Create It Now radio show about why some people dream it versus why other people create it. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. on KLAV.
Welcome back to Create It Now. The phone lines are open at 731-1230. Here again, your hosts, Jonathan Stone, Dawn Elizabeth, and AJ Boyden.
You are listening to the Create It Now radio show. If you are just tuning in, we are talking with Imara and talking about intuitiveness and how that can really help different businesses. And I know, Jonathan, you had a question from before we went to our break.
Well, yeah, it's a question and also a statement. Sometimes, even when I go into business deals and stuff, you know, thinking about it, you're so in it, you're so involved in it that you can't see outside, like, of the picture frame.
Sure.
And I think that's where you are such a plus, Imara, that somebody can come back out and go, oh, you can feel it, you can see it, you see the bigger picture. That's
a good comment, you know, because often I'll hear that from clients. They'll say things that reflect your statement. They'll say, that gives me another perspective, or you just put it into perspective, or, you know, I can see it in context now. You're absolutely right, because I can look at the microcosmic aspect of them and their role in it, but I can see the big picture of, let's step back, let's put it in a context, not only literally of the business situation, but karmically and spiritually for you. What role is this playing in your life, and where is it leading? Again, literally on the physical level with the project or the business situation, but karmically and spiritually for you and your role, and where is it taking you?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, and it's so important to have. I mean, I wish, I really do, like it's so many of my business dealings and different things like that, that I had that that person there that could coach as well. So it's kind of like you're like a business coach, life coach, but heightened awareness and psychic all wrapped up in one. But when you have to step into that role, wear many different hats, that's what you do. And you just bring everything into that. Am I correct?
Yeah, I describe it as I've got a lot of tools in my bag of tricks.
Right.
And, if I'm going to work for the U.S. government, as I have, they're not going to hire me as a psychic, but not using that word for obvious reasons. But I'm going to go in there and I'm going to use my left brain training and skills and business background and education, along with that intuitive ability or talent, that I was blessed with, or some days it feels like cursed with, but that I was blessed with, to be able to go into the situation and do the prognostication or the forecasting or the team building or the management training. And I like to say that I'm using my whole brain. I'm using the logical side. That the gift is not that I have intelligence on the left side, if you will, although we have intelligence on all sides of our brain, and not that I have intuition on the right side, although it's in all parts of our brain, but that I have both, and that 1 and 1 equals 3.
There you go.
Nice.
And I think that's what makes the difference. If you look at all successful scientists and all successful business moguls, that's what makes them different. They're not just smart or just creative or just intuitive. They know how to balance all 3 of those in making a decision, in making an investment, in pursuing something.
Right.
It's bringing those together, and that's what more of us need to learn how to do.
Absolutely. And one thing I want to say to a listening audience about you, Imara, you've been actually investigated and ranked by Simon & Schuster as one of the 65 top psychics in America. So, you have been checked out, and Simon & Schuster has put you up there. What was that like? Did they call you? How did that come about?
Oh, yeah. That was a multiple-year investigation. It apparently someone who had been a client of mine or knew a client of mine had referred them to me or me to them, and they started out They decided they were going to write this book called The 100 Top Psychics in America, and I just cringed at the title because I thought, oh God, but I went with it, and it took them about 2 or 3 years, and they started out with a list of several thousand people. And they honed it down. They investigated us. They did blind readings with us, having people call. They called businesses, holistic stores, practitioner centers, and asked about, who they'd heard of or what did they know about us. They checked references. They did the whole 9 yards. And this went on. They spent hours. I spent hours literally with them in interviews. In addition to all of this background work that they did. And they honed it down to 100 psychics for the book, and they featured 65 of us. Nice. So, yeah, that was really gratifying in that it came out of left field. This was a long time ago, in about 1996 the book came out, and it's actually still in print, which is almost unheard of for a paperback book. And I was very grateful for it. But it was nice because it wasn't just something they threw together. It was actually something they researched. And soon thereafter, U.S. News and World Report featured me in their Millennial edition. And several other newspapers have had me in their business, actually, in their business sections, talking about, my clients in Silicon Valley or my clients in the real estate industry and what somebody like me does, or how somebody like me, ended up using my education.
Right. No, that's great. But I have another question for you. So people have gut feelings. And in this show, people are probably listening go, well, I have a gut feeling. I'm wondering if this is right, if this is wrong. How do you tell people or teach them or explain to them how to follow their gut and what that actually means? And is that being intuitive, or is that just like having a bad belly that day? Ate something wrong.
Well, it can be the latter with today's American diet. the number one word and the number one answer, if you take nothing else, is practice. We are so desensitized from being sensitive in our society. You and Don were talking before the show, at the beginning of the show, about downtime and turning off the Facebook and the social media and the television and the radio and the noise. There's so much noise around us, and we become addicted to it, that we can't hear ourselves think. Well, we can't hear ourselves intuit either. And learning to be comfortable with the silence, learning to listen for the space between the words, and then, balancing that heart with the head that will give you that feeling, that gut. But it takes practice. And when I'm working with people, I tell them it's just like developing any other muscle. If you're trying to, clean up your pecs, if you're trying to develop your triceps, you're going to do certain exercises at the gym, but most importantly, you're going to do them consistently if you expect results. Your third eye, if you will, your intuition, is really no different. The more you use it, the more you affirm that you are open and receptive, the more information you will be given, and the more you're just subconsciously ready to hear, versus someone who dabbles occasionally and expects to be Merlin the Magician. Which is very common.
Right? Oh, of course.
I call them mental New Agers and metafizzlers.
Metafizzlers. Love
like
that. We're going to write that
So
down.
with the practice, how did you come about realizing that you needed to practice it? Was it something you figured out on your own, or did you have somebody help you?
It's a calling. It really is. I much to my parents' chagrin, gave up these phenomenal careers in blue chip corporate America, and I was injured. And let me back up a step. I did very well in the business world, and I was a senior executive in corporate America before I was 30, and a few steps ahead of my age colleagues. I attribute that not just to hard work and being, diligent, but to what they used to call business acumen. I could look at a product or a label or a concept, and I would know whether it would be successful or not, or I'd know what needed to be tweaked. And I think that really helped me advance faster. Right. So that by the time I wasn't even 30, I kind of was burned out. I had accomplished a level that I never thought I would get to, or I thought I would get to maybe 10 years later. And I had an opportunity to break the golden handcuffs and pursue something that I always enjoyed and I always wanted to do, but, I wasn't raised to pursue creative endeavors. I was raised to be a doctor, a lawyer, Indian chief. If you've got smarts, you're supposed to use them, and all that, artistic entertainment stuff is a hobby. Right. So when I had the chance to break the golden handcuffs, I did, and I went to Hollywood, and I pursued an acting career, which had always been a hobby, as I would pursue any other new product. And within a year, I had my SAG card. As you guys know, it takes an average of 4 years to get one. I had my AFTER card. I was on General Hospital, and I had a lead in a feature film.
Very nice.
So that was going great. But throughout all of this, now there's an undercurrent my whole life of trying to understand myself, trying to figure out why I have these feelings and why I'm attracted to certain things and why does my brain work like this. And so I'd always been a student of metaphysical things and subjects and dreams. In high school, I did a project on dreams and REM sleep, and it always fascinated me. So there's this. And I did, little readings for friends, with my own deck of cards I made up. And I used to go hunting in the wilderness where we lived and find shards of pottery and read them. I didn't know that's what I was doing. I was, kind of playing archaeologist, and I would visions of, who lived there and what they had done and what had happened there came into my head. So I was always practicing developing this natural innate ability and learning how to get in control of it so that it wasn't controlling me. Because it's kind of scary when you get an input of info or prophecy and you don't know what to do with it.
Right. No, I totally understand. And it could be scary at times. And one of the other things I want to talk to you about, there's two things. One, Imara, we definitely want you to be a featured guest because your expertise in Reiki and explaining what that is, and just continuing, because you're at so many different levels and so many hats that you wear. We want you to come back many times over and help out, our listeners, and also teach them about these different levels of things. But the question I'm going to ask you right now, all right? So what do go on about the show and where Create It Now is going? Well, or me personally, whatever you want to do.
You have to be careful, Jonathan.
You
a
can be
morning
honest.
talk show radio host asked me a question once, and this was actually in Colorado, and I was at a big AM station, one of the top-ranked morning shows. And he asked me a question about his show and his career. And I'm like, no, you don't want to ask that on the air, because he was going to get an offer and a job and go someplace else. And I didn't want to say that on the air in front of his bosses. And he asked it anyway, and I'm like trying to be really diplomatic. Long story short, I tried to be as diplomatic as I could, and within 3 months, he was in New York.
Okay.
And he had a big show in New York.
Okay, I don't know if
but so I will be diplomatic if I get something here we're not supposed to say out loud. But I like the show, and I think it has a lot of potential. I think it has nothing but upward potential. What I get from the show is it's in kind of this fledgling state, and it needs support. But if it gets that support, and I think it will over time, it can go in almost any direction you want to take it.
Well, we will take that.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm taking notes on it. I want to make sure I have that information.
Okay, people, you need to support us.
I think part of it is your format and your concept. It's what the universe needs now. It needs reinforcement, as you were saying. How do we teach people how to make it happen amidst all this negativity and naysaying that we're bombarded with every day? How do people learn to see beyond those who say, well, you can't do that, or you don't have enough money to do that, or, well, you have to put food on your table? And how do they do that? And I know it's hard. People say to me, well, you don't understand. Those are only people that don't know what I gave up to be doing what I'm doing. Yes, there was some catalytic events in my life. I was physically injured. I was written off by the medical community, and it took me away from the traditional stuff and forced me to walk my talk, forced me to come out of the closet, metaphysician, heal thyself. But we all have our trigger life experiences, and they get harsher when we're not living our passion and our truth.
Absolutely. Definitely. And Imara, I want to say thank you for coming on the show today. We really had a great hour with you and lots of information. And like Jonathan said, we'd love to have you back on. So we do want to schedule that, get you back onto our show if you are open to that.
I'm absolutely open. I'd love to come back on. I'm actually going to be in Vegas the next couple of weeks to do a wedding for the daughter of a client. So I'm very excited about that. But if I may I give out my phone number if anyone would like to call me directly?
Yeah, that's what we're going to do now. Give out your website, your phone number.
Yeah, how can people get a hold of you?
They can call me directly at 303-575-1100 or 1-800-677-1308. You can always check out my website, toppsychic.com. That's toppsychic.com. And I will get back to you as quickly as possible. But I'd love to come back, and I think it'll be great fun helping people lay out a plan and teach them some tips and some secrets for how to make it happen now.
Great. Thank you so much, Imara. And you are listening to the Create It Now radio show. Make sure you check us out at www.createitnowmedia.com, and we will be right back.
Blowing it out at Gene Woods Racing Experience, Las Vegas's newest premier outdoor adrenaline-powered gasoline go-karting track with speeds in excess of 45 miles per hour if you've got the balls. We've got 2-for-1 Tuesdays, buy one and your friend rides free. We got $5 off coupons, and remember, on your birthday, members ride free, and they get a free Gene Woods Racing Experience t-shirt, open Monday through Friday. 4 p.m. till 11. Saturday and Sunday, noon till 11. And we're located at 121 East Sunset Road in Las Vegas Boulevard at the Sports Center across from McCarran Airport. Come blow the doors off your competition at Gene Woods Racing Experience. Once you race here, you won't go anywhere else. Be there. Be there.
Have you ever wondered what's the difference between those who dream about a better life and those who go out and create it? Have you ever wondered what others do so that they can live the life of their dreams? Have you ever wondered what it is that you need to do so that you can live your dreams? This is AJ Quidden with the Create It Now radio show. Don't just dream about a better life. Go out there and create it now. Whether you want to take life to a new level or you find yourself starting all over due to the economy, listen to the Create It Now radio show Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock on KLAV AM 1230 Las Vegas.
Create It Now. Continues. Here again, Jonathan Stone, Dawn Elizabeth, and AJ Boyden.
You're listening to the Create It Now radio show, and if you are just tuning in with us, we had an amazing conversation with Imara, who is a master psychic and business intuitive consultant. And I love that she explained the idea of being intuitive as being your sensitivities being more defined, being able to practice that and getting in control of that. I thought that was a very interesting statement and concept that she brought forth.
And I also see that, like I kept saying, in the real world and in business decisions, to have that person there, that coach, the person to help you, that can see outside the box for you. Because sometimes we get really so caught up in our head and we come up with all these different kind of ideas and the negativity, where somebody could just back you up and just go, okay, look, here's the bigger picture. You know, don't react. You know, this is the steps. This is how it is. This is what I feel.
Absolutely.
You know?
And we were talking about this yesterday with a business client of ours, and we were saying how it's a lot harder to see it when you're in the midst, having that third party, that third eye, really seeing it and being able to create your own third eye with practice and being able to feel it and intuitively make those decisions as though a third party was there was, I think, amazing. And turning things off, the phones, the televisions, radio, except for when Create It Now is on, and being able to practice that ourselves and work on that. I know I'm going to start doing that. No,
because we have so much clutter and so much going on that, you know, I've tried to meditate, and so much comes in my mind that I can't do it all the way. I either fall asleep or just like I'm thinking about 20 million different things. Oh, yeah. And so it's so hard for me to actually shut down and close everything out and just, you know, relax and be calm. Absolutely. And so I really want to start practicing that more. And Imara just was like right on, and her energy is amazing.
Absolutely. And, you know, I also love how she kind of gave us a reading and talked with us, talked with one of our listeners, Kathy, as well, and very positive. And even though it's not always the best that you're going to hear, there's always pieces that are positive, and she's a very positive person to have as that third eye.
I'm so excited to have her back on the show.
I know, me too.
Tell people about Reiki and all that.
Yeah, and she's going to be in Las Vegas, so that'll be fun.
Yes, and we actually talked about she's going to be here on Friday, Saturday, so we're trying to figure out how to either record a show with her and then every time she's out. Yeah. Cool. Because there's so much more I want to ask.
Nice. And well, with that, tomorrow we have Wyland, who's going to be calling in, the artist, and he has an opening going on here in Las Vegas over the weekend. So he is our guest tomorrow. So make sure you tune in tomorrow, same station, same time, or www.createitnowmedia.com. Don't forget to find us on Facebook or Twitter at twitter.com/dreamit.createit. And again, I want to say thank you to Kathy for calling in and becoming a fan on Facebook and Twitter. We love you.
Yes.
And
thank you to Imara.
And thank you, Imara. And we are going to rebroadcast tonight on VegasAllNetRadio.com at 11 p.m. So make sure that you tune in if you didn't hear the whole day. And tune in tomorrow as well. You don't want to miss it.
Very exciting show.
Dream it, take action, and create it now.
Make it happen. Have an amazing day.